Hey there, Maria back with another video. It is 4:57 p.m. It is Tuesday afternoon and it is February 25th. And I just got back from my little afternoon jaunt. Now, as many know, just to give you guys a little filler up and catch up, I I'm not working right now. So I really needed to get out of the house. And I also wanted to scope out some places or some ideas of where I can kind of like kick back until I find a new job. Okay, so I kept thinking, I've been wanting to check out the Baker Library for a while. So I decided to get my stuff together and walk down to the library. And when I got there, it's an older building. I think the building is over 100 years old. Okay, and that's another reason why I want to choose a certain place to work on my projects with, because I really want the positive energy, right? It is a very positive energy in that library. I was hoping I could feel like some like really cool entities, but I didn't. Just mostly it was like residual type light energy, positive, a lot of sunlight. That's my thing. Okay, I need a lot of sunlight. As a matter of fact, I call it sunning, like making sure you have adequate sunlight in the home, right? And I'm also very sensitive as to what time of day the sunlight comes in. So I've took a couple pictures in the library while I was there, because I wanted to share, certain spots that I think are going to be a good place for me to chill out during certain times. Okay. Now, I think it's great that the libraries are open more, because for a while I know they were closed, especially during like the pandemic and stuff, and it was like really, But growing up, I'm going to tell you what, I spent a lot of my time during the summers and at the library. And the second place I used to spend a lot of my time was like doing things like relating to the parks and recreation type activities, which I think are great, wholesome type fun for kids and sometimes even families. Here at the library today, it was quiet, and it's Tuesday. Okay, it's like during the work week, so there's not a whole lot of people there. But they have free activities, so they had like painting today. They had like little water paints, and there was I'm going to show you a couple pictures in a few minutes, but I'm just going to talk for a little bit. And so I started this painting. Now I started the little activity when they were almost finished, like doing the whole painting project. And they said that they would like keep the paints out for me, but I figure it's time for me to head home anyway. But yeah, they had these, so I sat at the table and painted a picture. Now that was not my main interest in going there at first. The main point was for me to scope out places where I can start changing my environment, for more inspiration. And also, you get tired of sitting in the same spot. My house does not get a lot of sunlight, but that Baker Library has a crap load of sunlight, and it's very beautiful there. Anyway, so I am definitely planning on going back tomorrow. And I did talk to them about, some of their arts and crafts. I have a lot of supplies that I'm willing to donate for the library, because I see the joy in these. I don't know what you call it, a public type thing. I never really thought about where all that funding goes, but what I'm talking about is like how important those things are, and how enjoyable. I remember growing up, doing those things, and I couldn't resist. I really wanted to have that feel. I needed that feel because I was already walking to the library, which made me feel very young. It made me feel extremely young. It made me feel young. It brought back so much positive feelings. So I sat there and I walked to the library. And when I got there and the little activities that they were there doing, it really made it feel like I was doing some sort of childhood reset, which made me feel even more in touch with my inner child. So I was happy. So I will probably finish my little picture later. Let me show you. It's actually pretty good cardstock, that they provide at the library. And you can actually put this in a frame. Now, I didn't get to finish. I will finish later. The whole little project was like to draw circles, right? Of course, Maria, she's always going to go off on her own little tangent. I did draw a square and I did draw some triangles. But anyway, we'll finish that later. But it was fun. It was fun, and I know I've always been connected to the library. I remember when I used to ditch school because I was being bullied. The first place I would go to was I'm a nerd, okay? I'm a nerdy person. But these are the sort of things that I belong at. This is the sort of stuff that is very much a part of me. And I really do think, because a lot of people just don't have a lot of activities to do and they get very bored. I do know, I was thinking about an article that I had read a few years ago about this nursing home project where they brought in some stencils for senior citizens. And I kept thinking, maybe I have some stencils, that I don't mind donating to the library, but it's a good activity for people who are older, people who want to, just get out and do something. You know what I mean? Just get out and do something. I know that I did subscribe to their newsletter. I am such a nerd. I am such I'm a nerd. But yeah, little libraries, those sort of things. I don't know if they have like a parks and recreation activities here in this community, but or I don't even know if they do that anymore anywhere. But they were so wonderful. They really were having, and it had nothing to do with like being disadvantaged or anything. These were activities that most people had access to. It was just, during the summer we'd go to the park, right? And then sometimes they would have where like they'd have like barbecues, and sometimes they would have like, baking day, arts and crafts. I remember making a lot of gifts for my mom at those little things. They were just really great things, you know what I mean? And it was nice to know that if I decided to leave the house and I got bored, there was always somewhere to go instead of just like hanging around and getting in trouble. I mean, they're great activities. So let's get on with the picture show. Okay, so I was looking around at little tables to sit at in the library, and from this, how can I say this? This picture that I took of this window, I was sitting from a little table like right across it. And I thought, okay, this is really nice for the afternoon. It gets plenty of sunlight, And this was around, I'm going to say probably about 2:30 in the afternoon, perhaps, when I took this picture. I'll have to look, but I usually note the timing as to when sunlight reaches a certain window. I know it's kind of weird, but this is, it's just something I do. Okay. So I would say that the Baker Library is it's meant for Maria. I mean, it seems to work well. Okay. And I also turn around a little bit, and you can see the beautiful structure of the building. I mean, it's kind of small, and I like I guess the quaintness of it. I like it. It seems like it's just roomy enough. I like how they have the painted walls, and I love the arches in there. I just think it's a very beautifully made library, and I enjoyed this space. But here's some other options, sitting options. There's a lot of sunlight, dancing across the table on this particular picture. Yeah, it would be interesting for me to take some time and do some research as to to learn more about the building of this Baker Library. I really did like this one particular room. They have a lot of good things for children there. They have a lot of good books, and I even saw like a little cart where they were giving free books to some of the kids. So I actually didn't look at the flip through the books or anything, but they do have a lot of cute, cool stuff in there. Anyway, I really liked the way that this arch, I guess this arched doorway or entranceway was. I love the architecture of this building. And I did go to one section of the library, and I was interested in looking up historical records of Bakersfield. It's fun because sometimes they have like old phone books, stuff like that, but they didn't have them at this particular library. She told me if I want to look at that kind of stuff, she suggested I go to Beale Library. So I will definitely be heading over there at some point. I'm not just going to exclusively be hanging out at Baker. I also want to, go to the Beale Library. Anytime I want to get out of the house, where am I going to go? So I want to go somewhere where I could either bring my laptop or my notebook, or, I can work or do something on my project mainly. And then also if I just want to do some arts and crafts, just get out of the house and do something different. I need that right now. And I really do feel as though it made my mood happier. Okay, so as I was sitting at the table, I saw them gathering around, starting to do these little arts and crafts. Like I said, they were painting circles using water paint. And I was over at the other table, and I asked the librarian, I said, "Oh, you guys have arts and crafts?" And I said, "Well, how often do you guys do those?"
And she said every day, and I thought that was great. And so I just asked. I don't know if I asked or not, but I think she offered. You can do that. I asked what age level you had to be, because sometimes I think they do have an age limit, depending on who. And she's like, there is none. And I'm like, okay, well, fine. Then I'm just gonna step aside and go ahead and start painting. And it was fun. Like I said, I didn't finish my my project at the library, but I do have my well, I have water paints here at my house, so I can finish it here. And I did talk to her about, donating some of my arts and craft supplies that I'm not using, you know what I mean, to the libraries and stuff. I will be walking mostly to the library because my son will be using the truck while I am off from work. And we have different schedules anyway. So, all the trips to the library, I pretty much have to walk. So I told her that I would, when someday, find a soon though, because it would really be nice to get rid of some of this stuff, use the truck and drop off some stuff for the library. But I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that people can just kind of go out of their house and, go for a walk or something and kind of find a library and do something, either flip through books, check out some books, do some little arts and crafts. I don't know if I think they do storytelling. I don't know. I'll find out more when I get their newsletter. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Okay, this is the last slide. And so please keep in mind that when I was there, it was the afternoon. Now this particular window faces east. So I kept thinking, if I get there in the morning, I will have some beautiful morning sunlight as the sun, just kind of comes through the window. Now I can see myself, kind of stretched out, sitting Indian style with my laptop somewhere in that corner, especially in the morning. So that just might be my little spot. Okay. I did get some intuitive messages about people who may have misunderstood me. I think some people do understand now that I'm actually a very family-oriented type person. Even though I'm not interested in getting married or anything like that. I think people just thought that I just kind of didn't value family relationships or didn't have any sort of regard for them. No, I do believe that families are very sacred, and I do believe that, people should love their children. Responsible people should have, that should be responsible. I mean, that should be a responsibility left to responsible people. But I do believe that some people might have had that misconception about me. I've always believed in living a wholesome life, and caring for your offspring should be the most important thing that that should be the most important thing in the forefront of your mind. And I've never wanted my son to deal with the things that I had to deal with. And I've always wanted my son to have a better life than I did. You know what I mean? I know it's been very, very rough. And I know that people thought just because Maria was or C.B. Berganza or Solomon has always been something of a bohemian. I think that I have very strong morals, really. I think that's where people don't understand. They think just because people are living on the outskirts that equates to, a bad person. To me, a bad person is a person who abuses other people, disregards other people, bullies other people, who affect the quality of life of other people. Okay, that to me is what is immoral. I'm a very peaceful person. I try to encourage other people to pick up, things that are life enhancing and things that make their days better. You know what I mean? That's all I'm about. I'm about somebody who just tries to manage life. You know what I mean? Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. I think going to the library to get out of the house is a great idea, and it's going to help me, change my environment and keep me motivated for all my projects. So anyway, wrapping up this video, and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.